Hi everybody, hope you're doing well. So the Kool-Aid consumption continues. I received a very lengthy comment from Zarbuvit, YouTube user. I swear he works for Pine64 based on how this thing is phrased and what he says. And again, it's the usual Kool-Aid, the usual omission of the facts, and the usual trying to blame me for their shortcomings. So we're going to go over it right now. So he thinks that it's good that I share my experiences and give feedback. It is helpful for people and developers to see, he says. This being said, you should also be aware that the purchase page on their website clearly states that the product uses beta software and that core functionality is still being developed and that is not consumer ready. Now, I looked at that page. When I researched this phone, I did this first couple months of the year, January, February, and then I purchased it when it became available because it was unavailable for a while. I think March, something like that. I don't remember the exact dates, but first of all, when I went to the ordering page, I saw the red stuff at the bottom, but I didn't scroll down to see the other crap down at the bottom. And I don't know if that was there when I was looking, but anyway, it still does not change. Yeah, so he also says that it's in the description, and that the Wayback Machine says it's been there since March 23rd of this year. So I suspect it wasn't there when I bought it. Plus, I'm not the only one here. If this was just me and nobody else made this error, then I would say that yeah, okay, so I missed something, but I didn't miss your promise to deliver me a Linux Pine phone and make a market for it, and nobody wants to mention that, and I'm getting tired of pointing it out to you. And when you see that statement, and then you go to the ordering page, you don't scroll all the way down past the order button. You go to the order button, you click order, you put your card in, and you process the payment, and you never see any of that other shit. Even if it was there, you don't see it. It's designed that way for a reason. It gives you an escape lane to relieve yourself of responsibility for issuing a crappy product. Like I said in the response to this comment, and it's pasted in a couple of videos, so he's spreading it around. That's why I think it's corporate derived. You should have said the phone doesn't work. It's going to be up to you to make it work. Don't call us because we won't help you. That's what you should have said, and nobody would buy your fucking phone because it's a fucking flashlight, not a phone. Anyway, I get pissed off. I'm tired of repeating myself, and I'm tired of listening to them repeat the same garbage excuses that don't explain why they're promising me a Linux Pine phone and why they haven't delivered on it yet. Anyway, this is a beta edition of the Pine phone. The pre-installed Manjaro with Plasma Mobile, terrible operating system that ships with the edition of the Pine phone, is a beta software build. It was not beta software build, it was alpha. Populated with all sorts of app icons. You click one, this application is not complete. You click another one, this application is not complete. You click another one, it just made it made the desktop look good, but nothing worked. That's not beta. Webster Dictionary, please read it. Anyway, let's continue. This effectively means that while the core functionality of the Pine phone is still an ongoing effort, thus the device cannot be considered a consumer-ready product. But you called it beta, which makes it next best thing to consumer-ready. It's the pre-testing for the release. That's what the meaning of beta is. So you contradict yourself again. And you need to stop doing it. You stop hiding behind that statement. You're wrong. Admit it. Oh wait, the lawyers probably said don't admit that because the lawsuits would ensue, wouldn't they? Yes. We know what's going on. Anyway, and in a highlighted note separately, the beta edition Pine phones are aimed solely at early adopters. More specifically, only intended for those units to find their way in the hands of users with extensive line experience. Yeah, and that's at the bottom. That's in red in the ordering page. Why is that you're on that? And we're going to find out. We're going to find out why that is. you know, because you need to be one to be able to make the phone work, because it comes broken, and you you got to be a real expert, because no one's going to help you. Let's continue, shall we? You said, that's me, I said it's not even at a beta level yet in terms of functionality. This is a tricky point. I don't think it's tricky at all. It's quite. I've explained 1,000 times why it's not a tricky point. Anyway, listen to this. This is important. Since the business model used is not standard, and the community is basically both the customer and the developer of his product. I think it's supposed to be this product at this point. Exactly. So the truth now comes out that you finally admit you were only targeting the Kool-Aid drinkers. But you didn't say that. You promised the end user. Shall I get the webpage out and read it to you again for the 20,000th time? You promised me a functioning Pine phone and a market for one, for end users, and you're not fulfilling that promise. It's a mission statement. Deal with it. So finally, they admit that they didn't want my business. They were just gonna take it if they could get it, because they worded everything so sneakily to. I mean, I've been shopping on the internet. I invented online shopping before Amazon. I've been shopping for Christmas for 10 years online. I never go to malls. Never. I've been screwed many times before, and I always watch for them. And you know, even no matter how careful you get, you always find out that you know you get screwed again, no matter how careful you are. And that even happens on Amazon as well. Periodically you get boned. Luckily, of course, Amazon, you have tools to undo it. So I'm sure PinePhone will never be offered through Amazon, because you'll be getting a bunch of phones back really quick. The way you try to market them by marketing to the masses, but secretly only wanting the developers and the Kool-Aid drinkers, because the phone doesn't work for anyone else. All right, let's continue on. So we talked about the developer and is the customer at the same time. So I agree, maybe it should be considered in alpha until all core functionality is there. I agree with that too, and only needs validation and bug fixes. I think this is debatable either way, though. Well, I don't think it's debatable at all. I think it's very, very straightforward, very cut and dry. Beta is for products that are ready to be released. It's final testing. Alpha is no customers are involved. It's internal corporate work, and you're trying to make the product for the first time. So releasing it when it doesn't work, and putting a bunch of applications on the desktop that when launched say we're not complete, don't use this. It's not beta. That's not beta, pal. Okay, Webster Dictionary. Please read it. I'm tired of telling you. Okay. Sorry, finding my place. Oh yeah. Okay. In any case, I believe that clearly state. Not sure the wording right. Maybe I should say it clearly states it is not consumer ready, in addition to calling it beta software. Well, if it's not consumer ready, it can't be beta software. Read the definition of beta, please, and stop using it in a foreign fashion. And clarify that its core functionality is not all there. If you don't consider that beta, then you should still somewhat know what you are getting yourself into. Well, yeah, I knew it. You know, I've done all sorts of beta, and I've never had a horrendous experience like this one, because it was called beta in error. It never should have been released. You should have spelled out on the, instead of promising end users a Linux Pine phone that worked, you should have said, this is for developers only. You're the customer here. Please, no one else buy this product. That would have been the honest thing to do. But we know your warehouse is full of them. The project is not moving along very well. It's been 2 years now. Now you've got a pro version released, which makes the Pine phone obsolete. And you're stuck with whatever you've got now, because after my videos, no one's going to get screwed by you anymore. And speaking of getting screwed by you, the Pine phone action is moving along. You know, I dreaded volunteering to do this because, you know, the government forms, oh my God, it's a chore in itself. But I'm going to pick away at it, and we'll get there. But consumer protection, thank God we have them, or there'll be guys like this in every corner. Okay, and finally we get to the supreme statement. Though I think that it's clearly stated, you're wrong. Your experience and those people you say contacted you for the action campaign shows that maybe they should be even clearer and highlighted this information on the main page as well, or maybe write in a more bold way at the top of the purchase page in future. Well, I see they're finally getting it, but the thing is, you need to remove offering me the end user, a Linux-based Pine phone that works. That's what the lie is all about. That's why consumer protection is getting involved, because you made me a promise and you're not keeping it. So you have two things here. You can either admit you're wrong, compensate everyone who's been screwed by you, or deliver on your promise. And you would have to do that in a timely manner. The phone's been around for 2 years now. I've been waiting 7 months for a phone that functions. And you know, I remember why I started looking for this phone. So I'm going to tell you a quick story, because that's the end of his comment. I think by the last paragraph, I think they're finally getting what I'm talking about, and they're not admitting they're wrong yet, but we're getting close to that. So anyway, I was traveling one day, and I back January, February, end of January, I started being concerned about information I'm getting from YouTube and other places on how the government is spying on us and all the things that are going on, and it came home to roost for me. So let me tell you what happened. So I changed my policy with my phone in late January. I started turning off GPS, turning off data, turning off Wi-Fi, turning off Bluetooth when I'm not using it. Well, something interesting happened. The first day I did that, I'm leaving the house. I'm heading for the office, and I did that, and on the way, I get a phone call from my phone company asking me if I wanted to get a new phone, because my phone was old, and I said no. My phone works fine. I like it very much. And then I let them go, and then later on that week I get another phone call. Same thing, except they were offering me a new phone for $100. And I kind of went, I don't have a contract, don't want a contract. That's okay, no contract, right? Just new phone. And I still declined them. And then they called 6 times through that week. And my GPS, I would turn it on, turn it off, and turn it, depending on, because sometimes I use it. I used to use Google Maps, so I realized that I would have to tell everyone my location, because I needed that to. I got spoiled by it. I actually don't use it anymore at all. I do it. I'm a man. I don't need Google Maps. I know where to go. Anyway, it got to the point where they offered me a phone for free, and I knew something was wrong. And I go, holy shit. Every time I turn off the GPS, I get a phone call from the guys offering me, because they think my phone is malfunctioning. So one of the last calls, maybe not the exact last one, I said, I would like a new phone. Do you have one of those Linux phones? Oh, no, sir, we don't have that. Oh, that's too bad, because I was reading a whole lot about that. I'd like to have one. That's going to be my next phone. I hear they're fabulous. And no, sorry, sir, we don't have that. So that's why we're here today. That's why I'm criticizing the Koolaid drinkers, because my my privacy, and I think my safety and all our safeties is hinged on getting these products built quickly and starting to replace the huge conglomerate of spying tools that has been deployed in the last decade and that everyone is a victim of. Everyone. I'm sure that's why they need all these huge data centers. They're compiling so much stuff on everywhere we go, everyone we have come in contact with, everywhere we go, and I'm sure it's going to be used against us in the future, and we're not going to like it. So the sooner we get this PinePhone project out of alpha and into post-beta, the better off we're all going to be. And that's my ultimate goal, to see that happens, or see that everybody who got screwed by them with the false promise of a Linux PinePhone is compensated. Anyway, have I missed anything? Let me think a minute. Yes, I have one more thought, and again, I just want to specify. So I think this comment, and by the way, if you want to read the whole thing yourself, it's in a couple places, and I'm going to leave it there too. I'll tell you the one I look at. PinePhone Daily Driver Update version 3 episode 2 plus news about the PinePhone action campaign. That's the title of the video, dated the 22nd of November. If you scroll down the comments, user ZARBUVIT, several paragraphs. I'm pretty sure this is corporate derived, and they're feeling the heat from our campaign, and they're getting worried because I know I'm right, and I think they're realizing that I'm also right, and at some point we're going to have to come to terms on how we're going to settle this dispute. Anyway, also too, it occurred to me, a lot of you guys told me that you threw away your PinePhone because it was a boat anchor, and you couldn't do anything with it. I still think you should also sign up for the action campaign, and we're gonna have to see what we can do about that. Look up your receipt anyway, and because it's not your fault you had to throw away a piece of garbage, because it was a, as Privacy X says, a hot flaming piece of garbage, not any ordinary piece of garbage, a hot flaming one. And I want to make sure that everybody gets looked after on this, or everybody has Linux PinePhones, one of the two. Okay, so keep those cards and letters coming in. Thanks everybody. Remember what Sparky says, don't buy it, you're going to be sorry. Thanks everyone, take care.